Okay. Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone. Evening is. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, Lucture.
Yes, we can hear you, Doctor.
Clear.
Alaikum salam.
Yes, Doctor.
All right. Thank you. How about my video? Can you see? Okay. No lagging.
No, doctor, everything's right.
All right. Good. 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 Okay. First of all, my name is Fadra. I will take over this ccs591 class, yeah, from Dr. Sukuma starting this week onwards. Okay. My lecture is mostly on the we'll cover the whole part B. Okay, the whole part B. So I will brief a bit about the coursework, the tests, okay, and briefly about the class before we start the lecture. All right. So are you guys? You are 34 participants. This is a very unique class, yeah, because it's a mixture of mixed mode students and also a research students. So I believe it should be more than 30 participants. 30 participants. Anyway, have you like marked your attendance to the link that I just paste in the chat? Do mark your attendance first, yeah? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Now, are you guys ready? Shall I start the class? All right. Okay. So let me share the slide first, okay? Um, I will put in a slideshow. So can you see the full slide now in your screen? Okay, good, good. Thank you, Ali and Ayukune. Right. So yeah, basically we'll be teaching Dr. Sukuma and I will be teaching this research and empirical methods in computer science. Okay. And for this week, yeah, we will start with the first chapter of the part B, which is Introduction to Empirical Methods. Yeah, introductions to empirical method. Okay. Yeah, don't forget, yeah, to mark your attendance because it's very crucial because we are doing an online teaching, so the administration wants us to record, yeah, your attendance. Okay, so do mark your attendance in the Google Sheet that I've already shared. Okay, and yeah. So let me first introduce myself. I have a very long name, Fadratul Hafinas Hassan. You can either call me Fadra or Dr. Fadra. I don't mind, right? I am a senior lecturer in School of Computer Science, USM, starting 2014, 14, right? So I was also, yeah, visiting researchers in the University of Sydney, Australia for 1 year. Okay. Before I continue my PhD, I was also the project lead and also software engineer in Motorola Bayan Lepas. Okay. And I get my degree and also my master from USM and my PhD from Brunel University, London, UK. Yeah. So I specialize, my PhD specialization is on AI, artificial intelligence. Okay. Currently, my research focus more on pedestrian simulation, evacuation, crowd evacuation, spatial optimization, spatial layout design optimization, and also machine learning. Okay, so apart from me teaching and giving a lecture and giving a training to the student and also to the industry, I also actively doing a research, right? So within 7 years, with USM, I managed to secure about 14 research grants. So at the moment, my current research is on pedestrian modeling under the Hubert Korean Partnership Malaysia and France grant, with University de Lyon 1 France, and ABM modeling in public spaces with the University of Sydney, Australia. Right? So here are my international collaborators from Brunei. The bearded person is my ex-supervisor and a researcher from Audencia Nantes, France, and also University de Lyon, France. Another researchers doing optimization from Morocco and on ABM modeling with University of Sydney, Australia. So if you are interested to know more about my research, you could go to the link. Yeah, this is the computer science web page. Yeah, so if you want to know more about what is pedestrian simulations and the list of my grant and my publication, please help yourself to go to the link given. Okay, right. So enough about me. So can you please also introduce yourself? Okay, so can you scan the QR code or go to the link given and introduce yourself? Okay, so how you going to do that? Scan the QR code, okay, the given QR code, or paste or copy the link, all right, and give your and it will open to you to the new page called Padlet. Okay, ccs591 Padlet. So on your bottom right now, you will see the positive icon. Okay, click that icon, that positive icon. So it will pop up another small window, and then please fill in this detail: your full name, your research interest, your current research area, your supervisor's name, your expectation from CCS 591, this class, and your latest photo. Right? Okay. So can you do that now? Like I give you about 5 minutes to fill in all the details in the Padlet. Okay. Let me know if the QR code is not working. Thank you, Sheikh, for sharing and paste the Padlet link in the chat box. Thank you very much. Done, yeah? Filling up all the details. If not, you can finish it later after the class. So let me continue with the class first, yeah? Okay. Okay, so this is a recap, yeah, for the last 7 weeks that you with Dr. Sukumar. I believe that you already know the differences between the computer science and also non-computer science research, okay, right? And type of the research. In computer science, you get some research support from USM library. And this is a very important chapter, how you're going to define your research problem in CS, all right? How you're going to do the literature review, chapter number 2, ethics in publishing and the methodology, all right? So among these 7 topics, which one do you think is the most difficult? You can write one numbers, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 7 in the chat box. Okay, which one is the most, you think the most difficult for you to do as a research student? The most difficult for you to understand as a research student. You can write the numbers 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 7 at the in the chat box. Okay. Easy. 4 and 5. Thank you, Raji. 4 and 6, right? Thank you, Raji. 5, 6, 7. Okay. Other than Raji, Holmes, LR. Yeah, thank you, Ahmad. 4 and 6, 5 and 7. Okay. 5, 6, 7. Okay. 4. Correct. Yeah. 4 and 6. Yeah. Okay, Raji. 4 to 6 lah. Yeah. So I understand. When I started my PhD also, it's very difficult for me in the first years to define my research problem. Right? It's too, in the beginning, it's just too subjective, very vague, okay? Because I don't know what is the problem that I want to solve. Which one is the most important thing to solve? Okay, so it takes time. Okay, how you going to master it? Okay, you need to read more. Okay, you need to read books more, and you need to read especially past publication in your area, in your domain. Okay, from that you will know in which section or in which area you could help in solving the problem, right? So when you read more, doing the literature review, yeah, you will see some part of the research area still not covered yet by the other researchers. Okay, so that will be one of the research gap, okay, that you could propose to be your research problem, right? I know it's very difficult, especially for the PhD students, because to find a novelty in your research is very difficult. It's not a one-day job, right? It's not a 1 week job or even a month's job. You need to read more and back and forth discussing with your supervisors, right? To find the point, the research problem point is very difficult. I understand. Okay. Now, Okay, so let me go through first, yeah, out the course planner from my section, part B. Okay, so for this week, yeah, you're going to refer a lot on the general references. I'm going to introduce to you what is all about the empirical methods. Okay, and the theory, the type of the research of scientific research. Okay, so in this section, I will introduce a lot of theory. All right, and then the following weeks we're going to have a semester break, midterm break. Okay, for 1 week only. It's Christmas, right? 1 week only, and then for the following week, I'm going to introduce to you to the DOE, how you're going to design your experiment. Okay, what are the features that you need to be in your design experiment? Okay, what's the purpose of you having your experiment and also the principle behind the experiment? Okay, also following that weeks, yeah, I'm going to share with you the EDA process, the exploratory data analysis process, right? And then some introduction on statistical hypothesis testing, right? The p-value, the procedure, the one-tail and two-tail test, okay, right? And another following 3 weeks, yeah, we are in the statistical mode, okay? So I will introduce to you on the parameter estimation, central tendency, and confidence interval, right? Then you need to do your seminar or poster presentation, okay? We do it online, virtually, okay? Your online poster. This one is only for the mixed mode student, okay? This one is for the mixed mode student to present their poster in our class, okay? And the last one is the ANOVA and evaluation of research, okay? Clear? Okay. So, yeah, this is how we're going to evaluate your coursework. Bear in mind, this is 100% coursework. And there is no examination. No examination for the mixed mode student. 100% coursework. So how are we going to evaluate you if there is no final exam? So Dr. Sukuma will evaluate you with his assignment on part A and also research proposal. If I'm not yeah, I think, yeah, he will evaluate you on your research proposal. And for my part, I'm going to release two assignment B1 and also B2, okay? And also, I'm going to test you with one small test and you need to do a poster presentation. All right, so there will be 20% for two assignment, 10%, 10%, 10% for the test, and also 20% for your poster presentation, right? So take note the dates, okay? Especially the test and also the poster presentation. To the mixed mode student, please block your calendar on, especially on 21st January 2022 and also 28th January 2022. These two the most important date for you. So do block early. So that is why I'm telling you in the beginning of the class so that it's easy for you, especially that who are working in the company or in the industry, so you can like block. Okay, block sets, yeah, right? Because I won't change. I won't entertain any changes on the test date and also poster date. All right, so please, yeah, please block your calendar. Clear? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Yeah, this is my Oh, Dr. Sukuma also.
Dr. Fardu and Calvin here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Because Dr. Sukuma assignment are the same due date with your assignment.
I think he
Uh,
already, actually, I think he put it early, but you guys asked him to postpone, right?
no, that is the first assignment. The second assignment and third assignment is the same as yours one.
Ah, okay.
Uh,
But
7
don't
and
worry.
21st January.
I see. But don't worry, my assignment is very short one. It's a very short one. Okay? It's very short one. So you will have an ample time to do both assignment from my side and also his side. Okay? We'll see how, right? Okay, who I'm talking to? Tan Ki On. Okay, Tan Ki On.
I'm Calvin.
Oh, Calvin. All right, Calvin. My assignment is very short one. You can even do it in one day.
Yes.
Ghazi, what? Yes?
Yes. Yes, Lucture, I am here.
Question from you?
No.
No?
I am Ahmed Ghazi Rikabi.
Ahmad Ghazi? Yes? Do you want to ask any question? Or you can just type in the chat box. I can read it
Yes,
later.
Lucture. Internet is not good.
Your
Okay.
line, your
Internet
line.
is not good with me.
Oh, so you okay now, Ahmad Ghazi? If you have any questions, you can just type in the chat box. I will read it later. Okay. Shall I continue? Now, here are the main references that will be used in my part B. Okay, the CR Coterie, research methodology, methods and techniques, and the rest is the additional. Guide to intelligent data analysis, empirical method for AI, quantitative stats, research method, and also research method design and analysis. Right? This is the front cover of the book. Okay, front cover of the book. You can buy this one from Amazon. Okay, so here's the first agenda. All right. So for today, I'm going to introduce to you to the empirical methods, and also at the end of the class, I will release your first assignment, B1 assignment. Okay. Yes, Ali Kazilia. Why are you raising your hand? You raise your hand.
Okay. Hi, doctor.
Hi.
Alhamdulillah. I have a question about, I think we must complete the first and the second and the third chapters from the master dissertation in this
Mm,
class. Yes
mhm.
or no?
That one
Or,
is
and must be completed, or this optional for a student?
Ali
And
Kazilia. You are a PhD student or the mixed mode?
no, master degree.
You are a master by research or you're a mixed mode student? There's a difference there.
Mixed mode.
Okay, you are a mixed mode student. Okay. So what's your questions again?
My question, I think we know the student must complete the first and the second and the third chapters of the dissertation in this class. This optional or must complete it in this class?
That one, I believe you have to, and that one is from Dr. Sukuma section. So why
Mm.
don't you refer to him? Yeah? For the chapter
Okay,
1, 2, and 3, you need to refer to Dr. Sukuma. Okay?
okay, okay.
All
Thank you.
right. Welcome. No more questions? So can I continue with the class? All right. Thank you. All right. So let me introduce you first with the type of the research, yeah. Okay, so how can we divide type of research? So in general, there are two type of research. One is a scientific one, a scientific research, and also the other one is the art-based research, right? So since we are in the computer science discipline, so we do the scientific research, right? We do the scientific research. Okay, so as you know, science requires that belief be continuously tested against evidence from the real world. So this is what we do scientifically to test the evidence against the evidence from the real world, right? There'll be a lot of testing in our in the scientific research, yeah. Okay. Okay, here are among the main components of science. Okay. We have evidence, logic, hypothesis, theories, induction, deduction, validity, and also reliability. Okay. So what is evidence in science? Okay, it can be defined, yeah, empirically observing experience from your 5 senses: mouth, ears, skin, and everything. Okay, how about logic? How about logic in science? So it can be defined as the study of necessary connection or outcome. Okay. What about hypothesis? So hypothesis can be defined as a trial explanation that can be empirically tested. That can be empirically tested. Okay. The fourth component, theory. What are those? Okay, so theories can be defined as a set of related hypotheses, yeah, as a set or a group of hypotheses that act together to provide a better explanation than any single hypothesis. Right? So how about induction? Okay, so it can define as the generation of hypotheses and or theories from empirical evidence. Okay, and deduction, okay, is a reverse definition as induction. Okay, so deduction can be defined as the testing of hypotheses or theories with empirical evidence. Okay, how about validity? Okay, so it can be defined as measurement. It can be defined as a measure that you actually measure what you say, right? So it's a measurement, right? And how about reliability? Is the result of a research project that have been repeated, okay, few times, and the same finding result, and it generated, yeah, a same finding result each time you repeat the process. I think I saw a question, and let me check the chat box first, yeah. Let me check the chat box. So, doctor, what it means empirical? I will introduce it, okay? We will go through it slowly, okay? Or, okay, Tan, I will explain it later, all right? Now, okay, so let us go one by one, yeah? On each of the component of the science, okay? So the first one is the evidence. Okay, it's the evidence. So it can be defined as the empirically observed experience. Okay, so words, yeah, the term that signal the use of evidence are the data, observation, empirical, and also empiricism, right? So there are few kinds of evidence. The first one is quantitative versus qualitative, and the second one is ethic versus emic. Okay, don't worry about the jargon on the empirical. I will slowly introduce it later, right? Now, quantitative data. Okay, quantitative data, which is one of kind of the evidence. Okay, what is the quantitative data? Okay, it can be defined as the collected data in the form of numbers. It's tangible. So quantitative data, yeah, is analyzed using either descriptive or inferential statistical methods, right? So the collection of quantitative data will lend itself to a certain kind of research design, right? Now, how about quantitative research? Okay, how about quantitative research? Okay, so quantitative research focus on variables that can be measured or labeled with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So, for example, it will study some cases or participant. It will produce generalization result, right? So quantitative research also will attempt to stay independent of the context and setting, and it will detach the researcher from the study. It will analyze numeric result using descriptive and also inferential statistics. Okay, so usually the data, yeah, in the quantitative research will be collected through survey with a threshold or ranking, the data from the simulation, the data from your empirical experiment, or your structured interviews. Okay, so what about qualitative data? What about qualitative data? Okay, it's a data that collected in form of description, like colors, okay, red, blue, or green, like your taste. So in terms of description, okay. So qualitative data, yeah, is summarized in written description of the contents of interview, content analysis, your observation, or your participant observation. Normally, the results are presented in essay format, right? Descriptive, yeah, sometimes including quoted example. So the collection of qualitative data will also lend itself to a certain kind of research design. What we call is the qualitative research. Okay, qualitative research. Now, the qualitative research focus on interactive processes, events, ideas, or emotion. Okay, it involves the researcher intimately in the study being conducted. Okay, is used, yeah, qualitative research is used to produce a case study of society, for example, for the groups or even individual, right? So it will provide the only way to collect truly emic data, EMIC, emic data, right? So it will produce ideographics, a description of individual things or people, okay, and usually collects evidence or data through unstructured interviewing, observation, or participant observation or content analysis, which is more on the description of the data, right? So here is basically the differences, yeah, between qualitative research and also quantitative research, right? I don't need to read, okay? You can read it later in the slide, okay? So the main thing here, the purpose, yeah, the purpose for the qualitative research is to discover ideas with generic research objective, while the quantitative research is to test the hypothesis that you develop in the beginning of your research or specific research questions. Okay. Okay. Here is the difference between the emic versus ethic data. Okay. The emic is like from the insider view, while the ethic from the outsider view. Okay. The emic data is very subjective, and while the ethic data is thought to be more objective. Okay. So for example, you can see from the Starbucks and also the McDonald's. Remember, this is the type, emic and ethic data is the type of the evidence. Okay, the type of the evidence in the scientific research. Okay, so for the ethics, if you can see, if you're aware, if you go to the Starbucks, normally the menu, especially the coffee, do not adapt to the other countries. They are very defined, okay, predefined menu, right? However, if you go to the McDonald's, the menu change depending on the country. For example, now the McDonald's now have a nasi lemak menu, okay, but you won't find the nasi lemak menu if you go to the McDonald's in Canada, right? Because the McDonald's is more use the emic data. Okay, it's follow the culture of the countries. Okay, while Starbucks is not, right? But I believe now Starbucks is slowly moving to the emic evidence, because I can see now the menu in the Starbucks now have more local menu. If you go to the Starbucks now, there is some local menu like rendang, pie rendang, if I'm not mistaken, onde cake, So I think Starbucks now also moving like McDonald's that try to change the menu that based on the countries. All right, so this is the big difference between emic ethic data, the evidence in the scientific research. Okay. So now another term is that the logic. Okay, logic can be defined as the study of necessary connection or the outcome. Okay, it's a foundation of research in science. Okay, science must avoid any logical mistake that make incorrect connection and result in faulty information outcome. Okay, when you do your research, when you develop your experiment, do avoid any logical mistakes, okay? Because it will make an incorrect connection and your result will immediately generate a faulty information outcomes. Rakit, what do you mean by someone waiting to join with class? I think this, I share the WebEx so everyone can join. What do you mean, can the courseware be sent to us? You mean the slides? Janky? Janky, you mean the slide? The courseware? Okay, let me continue back. Now, another term is that okay, before we go to another term, I would like also to introduce to you some common errors in logic. Okay, there are 5 of it. Ad hominem, falsy dilemma, questionable cause, reductionism, and ethnocentrism. Right? So for ad hominem, is like when you're attacking the person and making the argument rather than producing evidence to contradict the argument itself, right? For the falsy dilemma is the error when you presenting the issue as having only two opposing explanations, right? For the questionable cause, yeah, is the error is a logic error where you assuming cause and effect when one or more of the three arguments for cause are not present, right? For the reductionism, yeah, is a common error of logic when you attempt to explain all questions using a single type, only a single type of explanations, right? And the last one, ethnocentrism, is when it's a error logic when you only apply your culture explanation to situation derived from the other cultures. Okay, so let's discuss the first two errors of logic, ad hominem and also falsy dilemma. Okay. So for example, that I shows in the slide that is two goose here who are arguing. Okay, the goose on your right, yeah, saying that you are very close-minded and stupid, and you only eat corn and you don't know anything. Okay, that right goose here is making a very a first common error logic, that what we call as a ad hominem. So what is an ad hominem argument? What is the ad hominem argument? So an ad hominem argument, yeah, is known traditionally as the argumentum ad hominem. It's a fallacy that sidestep the issue at hand by attacking the person, like the goose, yeah, it attacking the goose on the right, on the left, okay, who has put the issue forth, because the goose on the on your left state that we share many genetic characteristics with duck because we have evolved from a common ancestor. So this is the first argument, but the second goose attack back, okay, with a ad hominem argument. All right. So if seen objectively, yeah, it's clear that the opponent, yeah, has not in any way addressed the argument. However, in debates, yeah, taking place in front of any audience, this can be quite effective. If the audience is convinced that the individual who has proposed the argument has no right to do so on personal grounds, then the stand is weakened to the point of being insubstantial, right? So before they are able to justify their initial position, the individual is then forced to defend their character. However, from a purely objective standpoint, this is a logical fallacy. So it is possible for an individual to make a valid argument even if aspect of their personality or character run a counter to the proposition. Okay. So ad hominem is a Latin term which means to the person. He attacking to the person. Right? So essentially, by criticizing the individual making the argument, the validity of the argument itself is called into question. It's very questionable. Right? It's very questionable. So this is a form of misdirection whereby the actual subject is avoided and the attention of the audience is focused on the person instead of the actual content of the argument. So this is common in all forms of argumentation, right? Okay. So the second common error logic is the false dichotomies. Okay. So a false dichotomy is a logical fallacy that involves presenting two opposing facts, views, or options as though there were only one possibility. Okay. So the false dichotomy fallacy is often committed when someone thinks one or two option is obviously true while the other obviously is false. Black and white, 1-0 only, right? So in reality, many more facts, views, and options exist in between, right? So which can be represented, sorry, I didn't click the, so false dichotomy, where am I now? Okay, so yeah, when you are developing an experiment, you only see the result is a 1 or 0. But the truth is, in the real world, there is a spectrum of gray between black and white. All right. So, which the spectrum, yeah, which can be represented as a gradient of gray shade between the extreme of black and white. So while reasoning in binary may feel easier and reassuring, okay, people unaware of false dichotomy distract from the fact that there are many alternatives, right? Okay. Now let's go to the next scientific term, which is hypothesis. It's a popular term. Okay, hypothesis. Right? So hypothesis can be defined as a trial explanation that can be empirically tested. Okay, once tested and supported, a hypothesis can be used as an assumption on which other hypotheses are constructed. Okay, if refuted, a hypothesis must be discarded, changed, and retested. Okay, so hypothesis normally, you will develop your hypothesis in the beginning of your research. Okay, once you already define your problem, you have your problem statement, then you will develop your hypothesis. Yes, sorry, I just read the chat box. Yes, Tan Ki On, it means that you are attacking the characteristic of the people, okay, that you have a very good substance, okay, without any statement. Just blindly state that people is idiot, okay, without you have any explanation on that. Okay, for example, in the experiment, if you make if you like create your own experiment and then you see that your result you don't even do the experiment yet, yeah, because you just say that your framework, okay, your developed framework is good enough. For example, if you are doing a machine learning experiment, okay, if you are doing a machine learning research, okay, you are selecting you want to do maybe a prediction on blood demand, for example, okay, and you're going to use one of the machine learning algorithm, for example SVM, to predict your blood demand. Without doing any experiment, you will go and write a paper and state that by using this SVM, yeah, it will absolutely will generate a good result, okay, with a very high accuracy. This is wrong, yeah. It is very false because you didn't develop, you didn't test, yeah, you didn't even develop the experiment, you didn't even test your prediction, your model with the SVM or even other, and compare it with other machine learning algorithms. So you just blindly state that your model is good because it's used SVM without doing any comparison or without doing any testing, right? So this is a false dichotomy. I mean, you are stating, giving a statement without having a valid proof, right? Now, the next term is theory. What is the difference between theory and also hypothesis? Okay, so a theory, yeah, is a group of hypotheses. It's a group of hypotheses. It can be defined as a set of related hypotheses that act together to provide a better explanation than only one hypothesis. Okay, so theory are only specific in the hypotheses that make them up can be empirically tested, right? Okay. Another term is about induction and also deduction research. Oh, we normally go for 30-minute break to pray and come back. Okay, Abu Bakar, Ahmad, yeah, thank you for reminding me about the breaks, yeah. So shall we stop at now 7:10 and come back at 7:40? Okay, we come back at 7:40. Okay. Everyone ready? Shall I continue with the class? Are you guys back from the prayer, from the masjid? Okay, good, good. All right. Okay, now, another scientific term is the induction and also deduction. One is the top-down, another is the bottom-up kind of research. Okay, for the induction, we start with the observation and it concludes with the theories, while the deductive, we start with the theories, followed by hypothesis, observation, and also confirmation. So for the inductive research is more always associated with the qualitative method, while the deductive approach or research is normally related to the quantitative method, right? So induction can be defined as the generation of hypotheses or theories from your empirical evidence. Okay, so induction takes specific data and makes generalization from them. Okay, these generalization take the form of hypotheses and also theories, whereas deduction can be defined as the testing of hypothesis or theory with empirical evidence. Okay, so deduction takes generalization and collects evidence to see if they are supported under a variety of circumstances. Okay, so normally, we as a computer scientist, normally we follow the deductive research lah, right? We start with the theory, we develop our hypothesis, observe, and also we do the confirmation. Okay, so some advantages of deductive approach is that deductive approach will offer some advantages, for example, for possibility to explain causal relationship between concepts and variables, and possibility to measure your concept quantitatively. It's very tangible. And the last one is possibility to generalize research findings to a certain extent. All right, so bear in mind, normally to make things easier for research, computer science, normally we follow the deductive research flow chart, flow. Yeah. Okay. Another term component of science is the validity. It can be defined as you actually measure what you say you are measuring. Okay. For example, if you want to collect data on the shoe size, let's say you experiment, you want to see what is the shoe size for a certain population. Okay, you won't measure the self-esteem, okay, of the people that wear their shoes. Okay, shoe size is an invalid measure of self-esteem. So there are a number of self-esteem measurement instruments developed to measure the specific aspect of the self-esteem as the scientific community defines the concept. So these instruments have been tested and accepted as a valid instruments. Okay. Another component of the science is the reliability. Reliability. There's someone write in the chat box. Okay, let me check. What should what should we measure instead of shoe size? It depends on your research questions. It depends on your research question. What you want to solve. What issue you want to solve. Okay, maybe you want to know what is the differences of the people behavior, okay, in walking in a group or in a single, right? So you won't measure the shoe size. There is other parameter that is related to the research problem that you define in the beginning. Okay, so it always, the data that you collected always refer back to your objective, to your research objective. Okay, all right. Where am I now? Reliability. Right. So reliability refers to whether or not you get the same answer by using an instrument to measure something more than once. In simple terms, research reliability is the degree to which your research method produces a stable and consistent result. Meaning that how many times you repeat pun, like 10 times you repeat, it will produce the same result. Right? So a specific measure is considered to be reliable if its application on the same object of measurable number of times produce the same result. Okay, so for example, for example, I give you this statement. So the knowledge that boys are on average more active and aggressive as children than girls is a reliable finding. Why? Why this statement is true? Because dozens of studies have independently come to that same conclusion. Okay, so another example on the empirical type of research, let's say you want to test your developed algorithm. Okay, you state that the algorithm that you have proposed has successfully do this kind of optimization by this certain fitness value. Okay, now you are testing on the maybe on a small sample, on the maybe just 100 run. Now you want to test it on 1,000 of generation or 1,000 of run or looping. So if your proposed method is stable enough, it will generate a same fitness value. So this is what we call a reliability of the model that you have developed. It will produce the same answer no matter how big is your experiment. Right? This only for example. Okay. Now, there are few steps in a scientific research that you generally can follow. Okay, first, you need to select a topic or which population you want to study. Okay, what you are interested to. What are you interested in? What do you have to know more about? Okay, maybe you want to know the simulation of the people during evacuation, for example. So what do you interested to know? The cellular automata modeling is better when modeling the pedestrian simulation, or is it the continuous form model is better than modeling the simulation of the people? So that is a topic that maybe you could choose. All right. So then followed by review the literature on the same domain that you have selected. All right. Focus the question, match topic to the population, design the study, and then you collect the evidence or data that is related to the objective. And then you're going to analyze all the findings. Once you analyze, you need to interpret the findings, right? And informing others of your findings. How you're going to inform others of your finding? By publishing your finding, by writing a conference or journal or writing your thesis. Now, in the first place, why on earth you want to conduct a research? Can we just accept all the statement as it is? Is the knowledge just enough, just like that? In the first place, why you want to conduct a research? Is the current knowledge now, for example, for machine learning or deep learning is enough on this certain domain? Okay, or is there any, is the policy is now is strong enough? All right, so why we wanted to conduct a research? Do you think it's a waste of time doing the research? No. Never. Doing a research never waste your time. Even it takes more than 3 years for PhD students, yeah? Even it takes more than 2 years for the master by research student. Okay? Every day you will learn something new. Okay? You will develop a knowledge as a professionally. You will somehow solve a practical problem. Okay? You make other click inform with a new findings. Okay? And also you will inform other people or society with a new knowledge by conducting a research. Okay? So what do you understand about empirical? So it can be, what is it? What is it, empirical research? So it can be defined, empirical research, it can be defined as any study whose conclusion are exclusively derived from a concrete, verifiable evidence. Yeah. So the term empirical basically means that it is guided by scientific experimentation or evidence. Okay, you need to support, yeah, your research question, your objective, your hypothesis through the scientific experimentation, and it will generate a valid result. Okay, so likewise, yeah, a study is empirical when it uses a real world evidence in investigating its assertion, right? And by its name, yeah, it's a research approach that observes the rules of empirism and use quantitative and also qualitative method for gathering the evidence. So for instance, yeah, a study is being conducted to determine if working from home helps reducing stress from highly demanding jobs. So an experiment is conducted using two groups of employees, one working at the home and the other group is working at the office. So we observe both groups, each group we observe. So the outcomes derived from this research will provide an empirical evidence if working from home does help reduce stress or not. Okay, so the observation, the questionnaire that we observe from this two group, the data that we gather from the observation, will help us to provide an empirical evidence, okay, whether working from home does help reduce stress or not, right? This is a Paul R. Cohen. Okay, Paul R. Cohen, he father of statistics. He wrote lots of books. Yeah. Okay. So in his book, yeah, Empirical Methods for Artificial Intelligence, Cohen state that exploratory tools help your eyes detect patterns in data. Hypothesis testing tools help your data speak convincingly, and modeling tools help you explain your data. Okay, so exploratory hypotheses and also modeling will help to explain your data convincingly, right? So what does empirical mean? What is the meaning of the empirical? It's rely on observation, on the data that you have collected, on the experiment that you have developed. Okay, so empirical work should complement theoretical work, right? Theory are suggested by observation, theory are tested by observation. Conversely, theory direct our empirical attention. In addition, empirical means, like the state in the slide, wanting to understand behavior of a complex system. Okay. Yeah. So in computer science, empirical method will help us to answer a question. For example, if you program that you develop, let's say program A is more efficient than existing program B. Okay. Another example is that is a model A runtime vary more widely compared to the B on different kind of inputs. Okay. Or to answer a question like whether the program that you develop, let's say program A, generate more accurate result compared to the program B when we apply to certain tasks, right? Another question is that what are the best parameters for compiling or running a particular program? So empirical method will help to answer these questions. Okay, because it's more when you implement the empirical method, you will have a very structured method and it generate a more tangible result. Then you can validate your result using the statistical analysis. Okay. So here are some terminological that related to the empirical method. First is empirical, empirism, empirical data, empirical finding, and also empirical method. Okay, the first one, empirical, can be defined relying upon or derived from observation or derived from the experiment. The second one, empirism, is the employment of the empirical methods in science. The third one, empirical data, data that produced by an experiment, data that generated by an experiment or your observation. Finding, empirical finding, something that is observed, from the real world observation or data, in contrast to something that is deduced from theory. The last one, empirical method, is a simplified method of design that justified by experience or testing. All right, so empirical methods will assist us as a computer scientist in observing and visualizing the structure of real-world phenomena. So it can be categorized loosely into two groups or interrelated techniques. The first one is the exploratory techniques, and the second one is the confirmatory techniques. When you have the data, of course, you want to do some exploration because you want to understand the data. Okay, so you will go the first one, the exploratory techniques, where you're going to visualize, when you're going to summarize exploration and model the data. Okay, and then once you have all, when you already explore the data, okay, you need to confirm whether your techniques is good or not, whether your techniques can generate a better performance or not. by using hypothesis, by testing your hypothesis and do the prediction. Okay, so these two, exploratory techniques will be fall under EDA, exploratory data analysis, and the confirmatory techniques will fall under statistical hypothesis testing. So we will cover the EDA in the lecture 3 and also the hypothesis testing in the lecture 4. So EDA basically is the activity when you want to explore your data, you want to visualize the data, and you want to summarize and develop your model. Once you have do this, when you explore the data, of course, you need to confirm whether your model or your data is valid or not, whether you need to develop an experiment to confirm it, yes or no. So that will be fall under the hypothesis testing. How we going to validate all of the result? Using the statistical analysis. You need to do some inference, right? Now, so why do we need the empirical in our scientific study? So according to Paul R. Cohen, this method will enhance the observation and will help you to see the more structures of the world, right? So empirical research is used to validate the previous research finding and also the developed framework, the previous developed framework. So it is assuming a critical role in enhancing the internal validity. So the degree of control is very high, which enable the researcher to manage numerous variables, meaning that you can test so many parameters, right? So it will allow a researcher to comprehend the progressive changes that can occur and thus enable us to modify an approach when needed. So being based on fact and experience makes a research project more authentic and also competent. Right? Okay, so in computer science, empirical methods can be used to study a developed algorithm or a new enhanced algorithm or a new prediction model or a new system, right? So methods involve running programs and recording their behavior of the output in a given environment. So when you compare to the biological system, computer system is more simpler. Okay, when you compare to the biology study, the computer system study is more simpler. Okay, because tasks in a computer system are rudimentary compared to human cognition, compared to natural physical environment, which is more complex. Okay, environment which we program the system to be operate are much more less complex, right? Yet, computer systems are similar to biology or chemical process because we may not know exactly how they work, black box. That's why we need to do a lot of experiment. How long the program will take to complete a run, how much knowledge is required to reduce the error rate. Right? So that is why it is not enough for you to only set one experiment. Okay, you need to have more. All right. Let's say if you run the algorithm, you want to test your algorithm, at least run for the 10 experiment. Okay, then you will get the average fitness value. Right? Don't only run one, it's biased. It will produce a biased result. Okay? So there are few classes of empirical studies. Okay? The first one is the exploratory and the second one is the confirmatory. Okay, in the exploratory, there are exploratory study and also assessment study, whereas in the confirmatory, there is a manipulation experiment and also observation experiment. So what is the exploratory studies? Okay, will yield causal, exploratory study will yield causal hypotheses that are tested in observation or manipulation experiment. Okay, so to this end, exploratory studies usually collects lots of data, analyzing it in many ways to find regularities. Assessment study, yeah, will establish baseline and ranges and other assessment of the behavior of a system or its environment. Manipulation experiment. Manipulation experiment is a test hypothesis about causal influence of factors by manipulating them and noting effect, if any, on one or more measured variables. Okay, you manipulate the experiment with different type of parameters, right? Last one, observation experiments will disclose effect of factors on measured variable by observing associations between level of factors and value of the variable. These are also called natural and quasi-experimental experiments. So here is the definition of the classes of the empirical studies. Okay, you can read it later. Okay, now, so next, what is the role of statistics in empirical methods? What is the role? It's very important. Statistics play a very important role in your experiment, in your empirical methods. What are their roles? So yeah, empirical study usually observe non-deterministic phenomena, which exhibit a lot of variability, right? So it's natural for us to use statistical techniques in such cases. Okay, exploratory statistical techniques or EDA. Okay, so the main role of statistics in empirical methods is to help us to validate the result that is generated from the experiment that we have developed. It's like a confirmatory experiment. All right, so I would like to say that at least you know a little bit of a knowledge of the descriptive analysis and also inference statistic for you later on when you want to validate your result. Okay, once you generate the result, you need also to do some statistical analysis to validate your result. Okay, because when you use the statistical analysis to validate your result, you will have a very strong confirmation. Okay, no one will argue that anymore with the result that you get from the statistical analysis. Okay, so here are some statistical operation, okay, that normally we use. Okay, some important terms are population, sample, parameters, and also statistic. What is the difference between the population and also the sample? What is the difference between the parameter and also statistics? Okay, so population, the first one, the population is where we want to study the entire set of the object that the study is all about. So each object has one or more attributes. Okay, we want to know about distribution of this attribute. Whereas sample, sample is a subset of the population. It's a subset of the population from which we measure the attributes. How about parameter and statistic? What is the difference between these two? Both will generate the value, for example, mean, median, standard deviation. But for the parameter, that value, that descriptive analysis, that descriptive statistic value is referring to the main population, while the descriptive analysis value of mean, median, and standard deviation or statistic is referring to the sample distribution that you have chose. Okay. Right? Another 3 more slides. Okay. So here are the some advantages when we implement empirical method in computer science. Okay, the first one, cost, control, reproducibility, ethics, and solid proof. Now let's go for the first one. What do you think of the cost when you implement this empirical method? It will cut the cost because we only use a computer system to compare the model or even the algorithm that we develop. No need for expensive supercolliders. Another advantage is we have the control. Okay, so unlike in the real world, we have a complete command of the experiment. Okay, let's say if we want to study the effects of evacuation, the size of the door of the evacuation using the cellular automata model. Okay, in a real world, if you want to study the evacuation, let's say for the emergency evacuations, okay, we need to use the real people. Can you imagine how are we going to do the experiment using a real person in the emergency situation? It will be very difficult and it will be very dangerous. So that is why we change it to the simulation. So we can control how many people, what is the speed, what is the parameter, let's say if there is a fire evacuation, how big is the fire? So we can just manipulate it using the computer simulation. So we have the full control. Reproducibility. Okay. So we already have the model. Okay. So we can just reproduce it for how many times that we want. It's just an algorithm that we develop. So we can just reproduce it. Ethics. Okay. No ethics panel needed before you run the experiment. Yeah. We don't have to apply for the ethical approval unless if your developed model need to use the data from the hospital, which involve the patient name, patient IC numbers. That one you still need the ethical approval. Okay, anything that involve human, okay, you need some ethical approval. Solid proof, right? So by using the statistical analysis, statistical analysis shows we show the significant level of the empirical experiment, right? So there will be some certain value where if you already set, let's say the p-value, if you have this p-value that is less than, let's say 0.5, then it will show, it will confirm that your model is good enough, right? So it's a solid proof. Okay. So as a conclusion, the empirical, like our friend asking in the beginning of the class, what is the empirical? So empirical method, is the exploratory technique coupled with the experiment. Okay? Yeah, in the simple word, empirical is the exploratory technique coupled with the experiment. Right. So here, would like to share with you some example of the empirical method that I used into back like 11 years ago. Okay, this is my first paper that I used cellular automata model to generate a pedestrian flow statistic with some heuristic search to automatically generate a design, special layout design. Okay, so here are the example that I use, the empirical method that I use. I do a comparison between few algorithm. Okay, the basic one, the hill climbing with the simulated annealing. Okay, this is an example lah, empirical method that I've been implemented in my research. Okay, so and with the first lecture, before I release to you the assignment, any questions? You can type also in the chat box. I will open the chat box now. Abu Bakar Abah, what do you mean by for privacy? Can you explain it a bit? Abu Bakar? For privacy, maybe?
Yes,
What
ma'am.
do you
Yes,
mean by
doctor.
that? Yep.
I mean, when you were talking about ethics, and you said, example, except if you are going to use like a patient record,
Yes.
for example. So I just say, like for privacy, so you need ethics because you are going to use some information for
Yeah,
individuals or
correct.
patients. Yeah. So that's those.
Uh, are you asking or you are giving a statement now? I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm giving a statement so that you
Ah,
confirm whether it is correct or not.
yes, you are right. Because one of the reasons that we need to apply for the ethical approval is because we need to, understand the privaciness of the data itself, especially that is related to the medical data. All right. So we need to have some consent from
Yes.
those parties,
Yes.
right?
Thank you.
Yes, you are right. Thank you, Abu Bakar. Any more questions? Okay. Okay, so let me go back, yeah. Okay, time may need help for explaining exploratory versus assessment study. Now, let's go back to the slide on that particular, yeah, exploratory and also the assessment study. Okay, so this is fall under exploratory method. Okay, once you develop your research questions, okay, once you develop your research question, you will also automatically know what is your objective. From there, you will know also what kind of data. This is only for example, a data that you need to collect. You need first to explore. You need first to explore the data. Okay, so the difference between the assessment is that this is the exploratory will go first, then it will follow by the assessment study. Because assessment study will help you to establish some baseline and also range of the data that you have explored. Okay, you won't need, let's say you want to study on the effects of certain drugs to the Malaysian populations. You don't have to collect the whole Malaysian data, right? So you only need a certain sample. So the assessment study will help you to develop the baseline or range of the data that is needed. Am I answering your question, Tan? Raji. The empirical methods indicators part of the wording of research question or hypothesis for it to be acceptable. For you, the empirical method indicator must manifest in the way we conduct our research. Okay, this question is very wrong. Okay, let me try to understand your question here, Raji. What do you mean by the indicator, empirical methods indicator, part of wording?
Hello, madam.
Yes,
Hello,
Raji.
doctor. When you are trying to explain what empirical means, you have given some questions like to test two algorithm to find out if it is actually efficient. So what I'm trying to say is that some of these things, some of these words that are used in such question, must it be part of our question when we are designing our research question or our hypothesis?
Can you give some example of your work, like your research questions?
No, for instance, I'm just asking the question from what you are saying. You made mention of how to know that research, the empirical method is applied to research. You give some example, testing if two algorithms, if one algorithm is better than the other, if one algorithm is more efficient than the other. So this is this one indicate the application of empirical method in that research. So I'm now asking, some of these features, must it be part of our research question when we are formulating or part of hypothesis testing? Or is it just the normal way?
I understand now, Raji. It's best to include in your research problem, right? Or your research question about the methodology, about the empirical methodology that you want to study. Okay, like the example that I gave it to you. Let's say you want to study the performance of the algorithm A. So in your research question, maybe you want to study this optimization algorithm that you propose is better than the previous one. All right. So this kind of wording, yeah, I think is advisable to be in your research questions. It will show that your research question is more tangible. It's more quantitative. I'm answering your question, Raji.
Thank you, ma.
I hope that I answer your questions.
Yes, ma, but I have another question relating to what you first said.
Okay.
Who is to verify the
Let
validity?
me write. Let me read. Let me read. Verification. Okay. You're asking about the verification, the reliability of the test instrument designed by a project student. Who going to validate that? That is what your question, Raji.
Yes, ma.
Who going to validate? You are the one who going to validate your own develop test instrument. How you going to validate that? Okay, you need to use the statistical analysis. Okay, you need to use the statistical analysis. All right. So let's say you have developed the algorithm A or test instrument A or any prediction model A. Okay. So you need to compare how good is your developed or proposed algorithm than the previous one. Okay. How big is the fitness value? What is the difference? What is the accuracy? And then the value that need to validate must be in number. So how do you get that numbers? You need to use the statistical analysis. So that is why statistical analysis is part of the empirical method, because statistical analysis will help you to state that, to confirm that your developed algorithm or your developed test instrument is good enough. Okay, the number that is generated from the statistical analysis, like the percentage value or the p-value or even the error rate, will help you to determine whether your model is good enough. So come back to your question, who going to validate the reliability of your model is you. Is you yourself. Okay, Raji?
Thank
So
you, ma.
you not only develop the algorithm, you also need to do the validation. It's a must in your research. It's a must. Validate your develop. Okay, any more question, Raji? Is it okay, Raji? Are you a PhD student or mixed mode student?
Mixed mode.
Mixed mode student. Who's your supervisor? Have you choose your supervisor?
Yes, ma.
Who's your supervisor?
Dr. Mrs. Mamit.
Oh, Mami. So you're doing a security
Yes.
or network? Yeah. Okay.
Security.
Security. Yeah. All right. So other question? Are there any PhD student, the one who sit in this class? Any question from you guys? No? I will provide it later in the next lecture. Okay, Tan? Validity example. All right, Tan? Okay, if there is no more question, let me release the first assignment B1, yeah? Okay, it's a simple one. For the first assignment, okay, two part. The first part, you just give your name, your metric number, your proposed dissertation title. This B1 assignment is only for the mixed mode student, yeah, and your potential supervisor. Okay, and your potential supervisor. And the second part is you need to find one related paper to your proposed dissertation, and you need to discuss the methodology in one paragraph. Okay. Okay. Do you understand the assignment that I give, your first assignment? Just one related paper, or it must be a journal lah. Possibly it must be a journal that is related to your proposed dissertation, and go and dig into the methodology part and discuss in one paragraph what are their implemented methodology. Okay, it must be related to your proposed research. Yeah, any question? I heard someone going to ask a question.
Yes, doctor.
Yes?
My question is that the assignment is for the mixed mode only or for PhD and masters?
Only for the mixed mode student. Okay?
Okay.
For the PhD student, we won't evaluate you. We won't evaluate you. You only sit in the class for a couple of percentage. I don't know how many percentage you need to sit in our class. Okay? We won't evaluate you. Okay? So, wait. Are you taking the EKC 500 or not?
No.
No, you are not the EKC 500.
Yes.
Because if you're taking the EKC 500, you will be evaluated in that EKC 500 classes, not in my class.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So, how long is the paragraph? Just one page. Just one page A4 size paper. Okay, not more than one page. Okay. Hadil, I answered the question already. It's not for the PhD student. It's only for the mixed mode student. So you need to submit. I've already open the link in the e-learning, and the submission is before or on 7 January 6:15 p.m. Okay, the submission portal in the e-learning. I will also upload the slides, today's slide, and also this assignment to the e-learning after the class. Clear? Like I said, my assignment is very simple. But please do not copy and paste. Please do not copy and paste. Okay? Do synthesize in your own word. If the plagiarism check is more than 15%, then I will give a very low mark. Write in your own word. Okay, any more questions?
Hello, ma.
Yeah.
Do you mean research, the research method used or research methodology adopted?
Research, the methodology of the previous of the paper that you have chosen. Let's say what is your research is about security. Let's say, for example, is about security, then you need to find the method that is used in the security domain. What are the methodology? I believe it's not about security. I believe your topic must be very refined, right? Must be very refined in detail. What is the security study you want to study? Right? So your related paper must be in a security domain lah. Okay, and find what is the method that is they use. Any more questions? Right, Kamil, yeah. I already paste the link. Can someone paste back the link in the chat? Can someone please paste back the Google form link the chat box? Thank you, Tan. Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Rakib.
Sorry, doctor.
Yep.
There are a few questions before the attendance.
Yes, question before that. Let me check. Is the submission time by 6:15? I wrote it as 6:15, but you can submit it before 11. Yeah? I just wrote it 6:15. Yeah? Actually, it's 11. Okay? Cher, Yin? No. No more time. My assignment is very simple. Just one page. Okay, I will upload the recorded video also. Sorry, Little Egg. Okay, if there is no more question. Oh yeah, next week we will have a midterm break. So see you in another 2 weeks. Okay? I think there is one student want to see me to discuss about the project. Is he still here?
Yes, doctor, I'm here.
Okay, so maybe can we wait for others to leave first? Yeah, then we'll discuss.
Okay.
About 5 minutes you come back. I think everyone will leave after that. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for attending my first lecture. Hope to see you again in 2 weeks' time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello, madam.
Hi.
Hi, madam. I'm Shri here.
Yes, Shri.
No, wanted to ask that I haven't find a lecturer yet. I actually emailed a few of them to discuss about the project, but still waiting for the yeah.
Oh, can we wait like can you give me like 5 minutes? Yeah, let other people leave first
Sure,
the
ma'am. Yep, yep.
meeting. Yeah, Shri.
Okay, no problem.
Hi, I'm back. Can I take a question from Pang Sui Ding first because I think she's making an appointment with me first. Yeah. So Pang Sui Ding, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So what's your current situation now? Which topic that you want to choose? Yeah.
Patient's arrival congestion detection system.
Wait. What's again?
Patient's arrival congestion detection system.
Patient arrival congestion. Let me check. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Patient arrival congestion detection system. Yeah. So you are interested in this topic?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So how good are you in Python?
Actually, I did 2 courses which is used Python. But actually, I have a few years experience in Java as well.
Okay. cool. So what do you understand with the problem that we want to solve here in this detection system?
Actually, it's like to how to say, to predict how to reduce the waiting time for the patients.
Yes. Yes. So at least you understand the basics ideas. Yeah, the thing is now, the data set you need to find by yourself.
I need to find myself. Okay.
Yeah, you need to find by yourself. So if you are agree to do this, you need to find the data set by yourself. But you don't need to have the real data set now, because it will be difficult for you to get the hospital one with all the ethical approval and everything. So what I'm suggesting to you is that you may find those data using the public data set. Okay. So for example, do you know where you're going to get the public data set?
I'm not sure, but I just Google that, see whether it is
Yeah,
available.
normally we Google, but there is some specific hub, yeah, for us to get the data set, a public data set. One is a Kaggle, one is the GitHub.
Okay.
I haven't explored those GitHub and Kaggle on the specific patient arrival dataset. Yeah. So maybe you could, like, go to the GitHub or the Kaggle and try to find the relevant dataset for this particular project, the patient arrival congestion detection system. Because normally if the public dataset, it would be easy for us because we don't need to apply any consent, any ethical approval, because they will share the data that is not sensitive, right? So no matter which hospital you can use, because the bottom line is that we wanted you to implement the algorithm. Okay, so the data set is the second issues lah. So you may use the public data set that you found later on in the Kaggle and also GitHub. So that is the first one, the data set.
Okay. Understood.
Okay. So any more question, Pang Sweetie? What is the next deliverable for your mixed mode? You need to register, you give your supervisor's name, and then when you need to submit your proposal. Is Dr. Sukuma give the timeline yet?
Let's see.
Oh yeah, you haven't registered pun yet, right? You just choose.
Yeah, just choose. I haven't
Just
registered.
choose. You haven't registered. Okay. So you will have ample time to go and see. Check.
Which means that I does not need a real data set, so I can be just like mark up the database, the data, so that's to simulate the problem.
Markup data also can.
Oh, okay.
So it would be difficult because you are not a master research or PhD research. You only have like what, 1 semester, 2 semester. That would be tough for you if you want to get the real data set.
I don't think the private hospital will share their patients with
but you have to go to the certain procedure. It will take very long time.
Yeah, I think you need approval or something like this. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any more
Okay.
questions? So I will put here in the Padlet that this topic has been taken.
Okay.
Let me edit. Okay, taken. All right.
I know that any follow-up that need to be do dealing with you like I need to
You mean the meeting?
Meeting, yeah.
I think at the moment I let you explore first this topic because you haven't yet registered kan?
Yeah.
Okay, once we officially register, then we will start our meeting.
Oh, okay.
When is it you need to register?
I'm not sure. I think it's Dr. Sugu just asked us to put the supervisor names on the Google Sheet. So I think he did mention that we need to register on something like maybe we just need to have a topic like to discuss earlier.
Correct.
To understand the topic and then to further on for the thesis research, something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, you go around and browse as much as possible the previous works, on the congestion detection, patient arrival first. Then one is official, then we do lah a weekly meeting or twice as a month, right? Okay, Fang Sweetie.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you. Okay, next is Shri. Shri, are you there?
Yes, madam, I'm here.
Yeah. So what is the problem with you? You don't have yet the supervisor.
Yes, madam.
How who have you contacted?
Okay, so far I contacted Madam Pantia.
Uh-huh.
The topic was interesting and all that, but just that she asked me, "Are you working or studying?" So currently I'm working, and she was like, she wanted a student who's able to like full time handle it.
Oh.
So she feels that if I'm working, probably there would be an issue in me showing some progress and all that, which may be true. But the thing is that can't help it. I'm still working, right? So yeah,
So have you tried other than Dr. Pantia?
I messaged Madam Shaira. She said that she would want to have an interview before, but I asked her when shall we have the interview. No reply yet. So I think for now, whoever lecturer is willing to give me a project, I'm willing to accept anything I get. No, because not that I have a particular favorite project or anything. It's like either of it, any project also, it's totally new for me. So it's like I don't mind anything as long as it's a thesis and
Have you tried to contact Dr. Azlina, Dr. who else in the Padlet? Dr. Nadir?
Actually, what happened was there was only this one project I liked, and when after that I was having high hopes that I would get it, and since it didn't happen, right? So Dr. Sukumar told me to email uh Dr. Shaira. So
Yeah.
that's so far that's the only person I've contacted, and it's like looks like we are running out of time, right? So the faster I get a topic, the better for me to like start working on it.
So, but then it would be later on would be very difficult juga lah because you interested that topic kan. So suddenly you want to change other topic because you don't have because the reason is that you so it's very
Interested
difficult.
in a sense where it was totally new and it sounded difficult, so I thought it would be challenging and all that. But I mean, all the topics that are equally challenging, so I came to a mind where anything it's okay. It's like, I mean, it's okay to like do either of it, right? So that's why I thought anything which is available, I would try it out.
Maybe you could like try email Dr. Shahira again, and at the same time you try to email other lecturers, for example, Dr. Fariza and Dr. Jason, right? Try to email others.
Okay, ma'am. By the way, wanted to ask that do you have any available topics currently, which is available?
Yeah, I do have topic, but I'm not sure whether you know, are you interested to do that or not?
Uh,
It is
okay.
also my topic would be because there is no data, you need to find it by yourself, and also mostly on the machine learning and also simulation. So I don't know your capability.
Okay. But mostly all the project is dealing with this data and Python, right?
Yeah, data, Python, and also machine learning model. For example, ICU bed predictions. What else? Forecasting demand in blood supply chains. So yeah, a simulation on the egress simulation model of disabled people. So I think why don't you try to contact others first? Okay?
Okay.
Dr. Tan Temping, Tan Temping, yeah, automatic speech. If you try first to contact Dr. Shahira because I think she's not around this week, I think, but maybe
Oh no,
perhaps.
because she did reply my email, so it's like probably I think I would get her reply soon, I guess.
Yeah,
But
so
not sure what's her project yet because I couldn't find it on the portal, so probably she would
yeah. Oh, she didn't put in the portal.
Yep,
Okay.
I couldn't find her name actually when Mr. Sukumaran told me her name, right? So I was like trying to find her name, but I couldn't get. So even her contact details also, I was like, I got it by Googling it and so yeah.
Oh, you try to email her again,
Okay, sure.
all right,
Sure, ma'am.
Shri. All right.
Okay, ma'am. I just want to know, is there any deadline for me to like by this time I should have a topic in my hand like that?
You need to refer to Dr. Sukumar. He's the one who handling this mixed mode registration thing.
Okay, cool.
He's the one who
Okay,
has
ma'am.
the time. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Welcome.
Okay, ma'am. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, I think I should end this meeting now. Okay. Okay, Pang, see you then. Right. Bye-bye.